start recording from this. But hello, welcome to Dev Diaries. This is episode number one. Um, I, I have worked on the game already, so technically there'll be some parts of this that I'll be going through which already exist. Uh, but for now, this is the first episode because I only came up with this idea recently, as of today, literally. Sat at work. Um, it's great. You know when work's boring when you're sat there thinking about doing
Everything
other
else you could
things.
be doing.
I'm joined here with Aiden Norris. He is going to be one of my voice actors. Well, actually, one of my voice actors. The only voice actor.
The only.
The
No
only.
pressure on me then.
I mean, to be honest, it's fine. There's no pressure because there's no one else to compete with.
Yeah, true. That's very true.
Um, he will be voicing one of the main characters through in the game. uh, right. So, hi Aiden.
Formalities aside.
So,
So,
actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to right little what do you call it? Disclaimer: my internet is bad, so if things are slow for when I'm screen sharing or anything like that, or when I'm searching for stuff on the internet, my internet's terrible. It's shocking. Like, absolutely terrible. So first, I'm actually going to share my screen with Aiden. Are you watching this stream?
yeah, yeah.
All right. Um, First is going to be a quick little breakdown as to. Gonna hide that for now. Oh, would you look what's open in the background? Close. Turn off. I don't want to see you.
It's showing the faults already.
Okay, sorry about the mess. Also, look at this disc. I need an SSD. um, I have so I'm gonna open up Trello. This is to just show the kind of the development process that we're going to be going through. Um, what's working, what we need to work on. Every things have already been worked on. However, most of it's actually been placed into the work that needs to be done section here. So, like character movement, character stats, abilities, enemy movement, enemy tracking, they're all basically done to a basic standard. However, like obviously I do want to work on it to be better. Like I just basically retouching it as I said in my post if you looked at my Instagram. Follow me on Kenji Honkolada Developer. I totally forgot to say that. I'm bad at
No
this.
one's. Well, I'm pretty sure that's the first time you've ever plugged yourself.
Yes, ever. Um, right. So I use Trello. Confirm my email. I'll confirm my email. I don't know what that is. Do that later. Remind me later. So I use Trello as my project management tool because it's very easy to use and it's they had some updates which makes it look really smooth and friendly. So we in development right now, end credit song that um I will be sharing soon. In character movement animation, I'll show you a few pictures of the work I've done for that. And what Aiden and I are going to be working today is creating a script as well as technically creating how Aiden's voice and his character is going to be like. We're going to really start really like I'm probably going to work on the intro monologue first with you, Aiden, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Um Mainly to be honest is just trying to create Aiden's character and how he's going to sound like.
Cool. Yeah. Setting the trend as to what I've got to kind of.
Yeah, I think together you and I, Aiden, will be working on this. So we kind of want, like, I want to make the backstory or like how this character's gonna be with you. Hence why I wanted to talk to you about it. Um, yeah. So I will go into that in a second. I'm just gonna show you a few things. Yeah, as I showed you in some of the in my first post on Instagram, there, this is the game menu song, which is the general song for the game. If you haven't heard it, go give it a listen. But apart from that, I'm actually going to talk about some of the character animations because I have finished Idle and Walking. Well, the art for that anyway. I haven't gone to the animation for it, but most of that can be done when it goes to the development of the game. Um, I could spell.
Idel.
Idel.
Idle.
Idle. So, oh, you know I came from a 12-hour shift.
I know. I'm aware you're not running at 100% brain capacity at the minute.
No, but I really don't have time. Work has given me extra hours, so here I am.
Well, I get back to work tomorrow, so
Oh, you're not actually on furlough.
not anymore.
Oh, thank gosh. Right.
So after this, I got to go through the paperwork. But
So, boom. This is the player character, or just the general, like, probably not the flushed out version for it, as it's not colored, and the shading's a little bit wonky, but this is the idea of it. Um,
pretty impressive. Not gonna lie.
Thank you. So what we have here, this is the idle animation. This is the walking slash running. I'm gonna swap the legs over in a bit. Um, so your character, interesting thing that I want to point out here, actually has one hand.
Okay.
The other hand is basically there's a sash which is attached to the lantern because the health in this game is represented by a lantern, really. I mean, there's going to be a health bar on the top, but the lantern is going to signify your character's basically life. And this is where we go on to talk about your character, Aiden, because your character is actually known as, he's like the light keeper or the light warden. So,
Keeper of light.
yeah.
Guessing it's going to be a bit of a name is subject to change.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I think we were looking at like some Latin name of it or like Latin of like something like that. Unfortunately, Latin for light, I believe, is a name that is synonymous to an annoying character. Oh look, I already looked it up.
Uh, yeah, it is. Oh, yeah. Those are familiar. I'm sure they'll get triggered as well by seeing that.
I mean, to be honest, I'm probably gonna call your character Lumen because it's the idea of light, glimmer, shine, star, lamp. Lamp specifically is what I'm after there.
Okay.
Also, a little bit of a plug here. They didn't tell me to plug, but I am here. I am using Opera GX. Now, I use Opera GX because of this toolbar right here. I find it like I could open my Facebook Messenger, my Instagram, um, as well as that Twitch GX control, which I find really useful, especially when I'm playing games where I could just limit the amount of CPU and RAM it's using. But the one thing I really like about it is these workspaces. So, like right here, I've got my dev time workspaces where all my tabs that I'll be using will be to do with dev. My game tabs here, and for this is just my. I call it that serious, but it's not serious at all. So yeah, cool little browser I use for development. Oh, not just for development, for life. I mean, I still have
Fair.
Google Chrome
Looking
here.
at it looks pretty convenient.
It it's so convenient. It
Might
makes.
consider that myself.
I mean, do you hear the music from this stream, Aiden?
I don't know.
Okay, well, it plays really calm music, which really helps. And like obviously, like every gamer thing, RGB boys, RGB.
I mean, you're saying it's got car music playing. When am I listening to car music?
Yeah, no, but like when you're playing Leg of Legends, um, you want to be having calm music. I'm just gonna quickly check OBS to see it's recording. Yes, it is. Hello, OBS. So, right. I am going to actually open Google Docs from this. And I'm going to share the link with you, Aiden,
Goody.
so we can. Google Docs, another friendly tool that I've been using. Well, that I use. Uh, I should name it before sharing. Lumen Character Dev. Um. Oh, what's your username?
What do you want? My personal email?
Whatever email you use for Google. Oh my
It'll
God! Look at
be.
that one.
Oh, that's taken a while back, isn't it? Right. It's just my name 1996 at gmail.com.
Oh,
That's my live account.
Aiden Norris 1996 at gmail.com. Everyone
Okay.
email him.
Please don't. Yeah, I'm awful with emails already.
Yeah, I'll send it to an editor. Right. So I've sent this to you. If you open up Google Docs. Right. For those of you that aren't familiar with Google Docs, it's an online, well, Word document tool from Google. Everything's like save instantly, and like what I'm showing you right now with Aiden. If I type hello, he can
Yeah, I
see what
see it
I
on my
type.
side.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
you can type something as well.
I can just be. I'm moving it. Look.
Yeah. So it really helps with them, like when you're working in a group and you want to do like some more documents. I mean, it's free. Key thing there is free. Um,
As an ex-student talking to a student.
student talks. All right, so all right. I'm gonna point out something with the entire development here. Like we're trying to keep it under budget, so all the software that I'll be using will be free. Like all my video editing software, recording, like my board, my sketchbook, which is what I use here for the art. That's free. It's become free recently. Unity is the main development tool I'll be using. Anyway, enough of plugging stuff to use, and let's get into actual development. Or, I say development. Let's get into actual
Discussion and
discussion and character creation. Right. So, breakdown of your character, Aiden. Uh, let's type. Actually, we'll do it. Have you ever used Coggle before, or do you know what Coggle is?
it sounded like a very strange word, so I'm not familiar.
Okay, so Coggle is it's false wrong. Is a mind map tool.
Oh yeah.
But that ain't it. uh, that's it. So Coggle is a mind map tool. That is not the email I wanted to be using. This is for, I guess, product manager. Yeah, let's create a diagram. Yeah, so it's a simple mind map tool. It's actually really user friendly. Look at that. Pew! Branch.
Pew line.
Line. Right, so we're gonna start off with who he is. Who? Who?
Who? Lumen? Who?
Lumen who? So, breakdown. So, your character is actually the sim. He symbolizes. I can't English. Symbolizes friends and family. Slash support, right?
So he's kind of like a word I'd probably use to describe it is that he's kind of like your half.
That I like that
Just
idea. Well, to be honest, that works. Hearth. Actually, interesting. So I've totally forgot. 'Cause some of those that are probably gonna be watching or like listening to this, if you ever are, um, basically the game is going to be kind of a it's not gonna be kind of a, it's going to be it's more created to create awareness in people for how they about mental illnesses and how it means some people struggle with it and how like what people go through when they're dealing with mental illnesses. So like the enemies that you'll be fighting and everything like that, they'll all be based off um, like the more common mental illnesses in the world. I'm actually going to make a separate video explaining the idea of the game, but that's the general gist of it. So, Aiden, your character is going to be like you said, he's going to be like the symbol of friends and family and support, like a hearth. Like, do you know the person that, um, like when you're struggling through something, the ones that are always there for you, like your friends and stuff, that will always comfort you. Aiden,
yes, I thought you were talking collectively out loud.
nah.
But yeah, I'm aware of that. Yeah, your
Uh,
network.
yeah, I like that word, network. I guess. Yeah, so that's who he is and stuff like that. If we come up with more, we'll add more to that. Now let's talk about what, which is like what he does. So let's start. What he
Does
does.
he do?
So what he does. In the game, you're more like say the least. If you go look into like Bloodborne and Dark Souls, like the lantern or the bonfire. Yeah.
So yeah, so he's like a rest point,
Yeah.
sort of.
Rest point, checkpoint, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, like the idea of a hearth type thing where it's like warm and comforting. I'd
I'm
say
guessing
like
it's probably.
a
Is it
breather.
gonna be that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he gonna be? Is he gonna sort of like emit that sort of feeling there? Is that going a little bit too warm in terms of the theme
I'm.
of this game?
I mean, we'll go into an imagery section here. How he'd look like. So the idea of it was the fact that in the entire game, there's only going to be a few light sources. There's going to be the lantern on your character, the lights coming from the locked houses that are going to be like populating, like basically the boundaries of the game would be the houses, which is the houses are, by the way, meant to signify um, basically people that can be hope, like can be like your saving grace, but they're not like opening your doors to you. Basically, those with a closed mind.
Got yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the only other light source outside of the houses is going to be your character. So, what were we talking about? Imagery.
Well, yes. Yeah, yes, in terms of
Yeah, so
imagery.
he's gonna be like, oh, like he'd be warm. Yeah.
He's, he's going to want to kind of look inviting, isn't he, really?
Hmm?
He's going to want to look inviting.
Yeah. Very much in. Like, I mean, as inviting as you can be in a gothic scenario. Like, I know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But he's
Uh,
not like dressed like in some really dark clothes or gives off a bit of a hunch. He's kind of like an open character.
yeah, I was actually thinking Ukwe.
Uguay,
If
Master
if
Uguay.
I was to make like a comparison to how I want him to look, like kind of look like, you know how like Uguay is like, he's very soft and like gentle and stuff, and he's got a massive
You saying
stick.
that I've got to talk in metaphors?
Nah, I'm not saying you have to. We're just talking about the imagery here. We're not actually talking about how your character's gonna
So
be.
the persona of him then, to
Ye-
some degree,
like,
gentle, easy talking, slow,
for
or
imagery wise, look like Uguay. Don't have to actually be like Uguay. Just so like, you know how Uguay had a gentle aura to him. So a gentle
yes.
aura. I'm actually gonna put an imagery.
Yeah, so we actually can remember what we're referring to.
Like, also another thing is, you know how Uguay had a massive like stick.
Yeah.
I want your character to have a stick, and then at the end of the stick is a lantern.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
At some point, I'm just gonna reference going, grab the lantern.
No, let's keep that game out of this. Already involved in our lives too much.
when you're being chased by loads of mobs. Oops. When you're being chased by loads of mobs and you just see you just see your character in the distance and just like, grab the lantern. Uh, yeah. So gentle aura, warm, inviting. I'm gonna actually make it so his light source, it's not overpowering, but it's larger than
so,
yours.
so yeah, it's got a lot more.
I'm gonna make
It's a lot more. It illuminates the area a bit more than your lamp would.
a significant light source.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this game is gonna be very dark. I mean, the fact that the game's called The Darkest Moon is going to be based around just darkness anyway.
Yeah. How would with in terms of actually to be fair, it's not really important, but like is the lamp gonna look different for road? Is it gonna indicate something?
So the
Is there
actual,
anything that comes to mind?
well, yes. So basically, whenever your HP goes up, your brightness goes up.
But in terms of Lumen, his lamp per se, like
Oh,
is it gonna look different to yours,
oh, um,
or is it just
yeah,
gonna
because your
be
lantern is just going to be a simple hand lamp, while his is going to be like a proper, like a bright shining beacon type thing.
yeah?
Um, I mean, his lamp is, you mainly talk to him. That's the main thing about it. The lamp is just a symbolism, I guess. I mean, we could go into like looking for what images. I mean, let's look up. Ah.
I mean, you're gonna get like shopping,
Okay,
so
no.
don't know
Lamp
why
on
you
a
did.
stick. I don't know what I expected from lamp
Look
on
at
a
this! Look
stick.
at this ingenuity. I mean,
Uh,
you're probably looking at something like oil lamps.
oil lamps. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, Edge Boys. What is this?
you typed in gothic lamp. I mean,
Oil lamp drawings. You always like to look at drawing versions.
so were you going for something like that, or a little bit more medieval?
I mean, this is okay. I guess a steampunk lamp. Let's look at steampunk lamp. Because that's like kind of like the
Kind of
kind
the
of look.
same.
What is that?
Shrek, Shrek. Lumen's gonna have a Shrek lamp.
No. Nah, that's not what I wanted. Is it called a through bill? I don't know what it's called.
Trouble.
No, that's literally.
Dress light. Well, that there's called a lantern, not a lamp.
Oh, sorry. Maybe I should be looking at lanterns.
Lantern. Yeah, not lamps.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
you
this is
go.
this is more what I was looking for. Oh, I'm so tired. Alright, should I just type in? I should try to get a gothic lantern.
Yeah, Gothic
Oh,
lanterns.
you got some pretty cool lanterns here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really scrapping some images off some eBay sites, isn't it, at the
yeah,
minute?
yeah. Well, kind of like basically a grandeur version of like these lamps. I'm obviously gonna get to designing it some point, but like I want it to be like
Yeah,
stand out.
this is kind of like the influence.
Yeah, I'm gonna specifically go to this and I'm gonna put in lantern. It's what we're looking for.
Not lamp.
Right. Um. Wow, we completely skipped over the what. So he's like a rest point. He's a breather. Um.
Wait, I mean, maybe not write down breather, as in he's
He's a
because that kind of gives off that he's going to be like a loud mouth breather when you approach him.
what he does, he breathes.
I mean,
um.
rest point kind of it's just like it kind of says what you need it to really.
Advice giver. So I actually want him like.
Advisor. I
I'm
think
gonna
advise is a better word than advice giver.
back up, man. Leave me alone.
It's all right. I'm just giving you pointers.
um. Yo, can explain to me why I did rest points and not capitalize any of the word.
Hey, don't really worry. Don't really matter.
Oh.
It's only for reference.
Um, what he does, replenish, replenish. That's repenish.
Replenish.
I- so he replenishes. What? I don't know why I placed what. I should have
This
just.
is what he does. Yeah, you split it. It's fine. Don't worry
I
about
don't know why. I
it.
don't know
What he
what
does.
what he does. Um. Yeah. So he's a rest point. He's an advisor. What he looks like. So let's go. Let's go with the visual stuff, I guess. So what he looks like.
It's quite important bit. Have you had any like ideas or sketches so far?
No.
No. So you literally blank canvas there at this
Yeah.
point.
So basically, as this was actually like first year project, and I'm redoing it. Lumen didn't exist in my first year initial draft.
Okay.
So like his character or like his existence just basically wasn't a thing. So I don't actually have an like a sketch for him already, and
Okay.
wanted to ask you from your opinion on what you think. How would you picture this character apart from Uguay?
um. Well, I would. He would have to be wearing, obviously, with the gothic theme and everything. He's gonna. I would say he's probably gonna end up being in some form of like white garb, maybe. If it's a very dark or black like shaded game, he's gonna be somewhat of a lighter shade. Not maybe white, but I feel like white is probably a better option.
I'm just gonna say standout color.
Yeah. Not asking for not quite like neon green, but
Definitely neon green.
full on rave gear.
I'm gonna say soft colors.
Yeah. Is he gonna be
Sift.
like an? Is he gonna be like an old and wise character? He's gonna be quite young.
Well, here's the thing, right? He's a mixture of your friends and families, which is a mixture of old and young. Really.
Yeah. Like, how would you like? Or how could we kind of like display that through a face?
Like,
Or maybe he doesn't
well,
have to have a face.
in all fairness, right? If we quickly look at the art style that we've got going for us at the moment, so this is like an idea sketch of the one of the bosses. This black screen. This is an idea sketch for one of the bosses.
Yeah.
So it's simple. It's like not a lot of detail, stuff like that. And as you saw, the character is simple, not a lot of detail. Uh, with these are like sketches of what the bosses are kind of gonna look like. Like there's not much detail into each character, so I don't think like we should be focusing on how his faces look, more like his,
Okay, maybe just how he appears.
yeah, how he appears, like his, like how he's standing, how he's, like the color scheme, what his clothes are. And we could talk about like what he'd be wearing.
Yeah.
I
My
mean,
brain's trying to link. It's trying to link like because if he's going to be your network of what in this context is going to be like a healthy and stable network for you to essentially reach out to. It's going to be one. It's going to want to be something not powerful, but quite heavy. Not. I don't know how to describe it.
all right, if
I feel
we,
like he needs to just appear as if he's like well put together. He's got his life on check, or he's just nothing's interrupting him or getting in the way. Quite a head-heavy character, maybe.
you want him to have a big head.
Well, no, not like in an egotistical
Oh,
way. Like in like he's very sure of himself. He's doing
yeah, it's like
like
how,
nothing's pulling him down. He's like really head high and motivated.
it's definitely then gonna have to look at like how would we make that, how would we create that into an image of a character. Like, are there existing characters that we, you can think of that we'd want to base him off?
Someone that's just outright always always okay, I guess, to put it bluntly.
Anyone
Um,
come, like any characters that exist?
trying to think. Someone who's always in the
Like
mood.
when we talk about the doll from Bloodborne, it's kind of like the same idea because like the doll was always a very inviting character, right?
Depends who you're asking. The
I
idea of her is meant to be comforting until you wrap yourself up in the lore of it all. But
I mean, until you look at who she's based off. I mean, to be honest, in all fairness, Maria was very comforting, as it she completely annihilated you.
yeah,
But like,
it's very true.
like if we have a look at the dolls, like if we dolls clothing, it's like the prayer, the white hair, the bonnet, the kind
It's
of
like a
rounded
sense of
features.
innocence to her, isn't it?
Yeah. If we were to go to Dark Souls, who is there? Who would we say is kind of like this character?
Solaire.
Oh,
My man
oh,
Solaire.
my
That guy's always in a
man.
good mood.
Again, it goes off the look. He barely has any sharp edges to him.
No, he's quite soft, but then he's signified with light, which is quite ironic actually for
I
what we're talking
mean,
about.
if we're gonna talk about round boys, what's his name?
Round boy,
What's his name?
not Smaug.
Not Smaug.
Oh, Katarina Knight, Onion
Yeah,
Boy.
Katarina. Not. I probably butchered that. Sorry.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean
this guy.
there isn't a K.
Sigvard. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, Sigurd and
That
Katarina.
that 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 is soft boy.
Soft, yeah.
I mean, the
He's
only
not meant.
he's,
That's from DS1 though, when he
that's
brings that bad boy out.
that's DS3, isn't it?
Actually, no. To be fair, I haven't pushed through. I haven't gone down with the actual Katarina questline, so I haven't actually seen it.
Yeah, so he's one soft boy.
Yeah, he's soft. He's kind of comical. He's got a soft voice.
Well, we'll talk about the voice in a second. So, but yeah. So I would say, ah, you know what? Perfect mood for this is this vibe.
I mean, yeah, but that man's constantly sleeping.
Oh, you know what? That vibe.
That's not far off the same thing. But yeah,
Yeah, minus the
this one's
sleeping
all,
part.
this is what Snorlax would be like if he was awake.
And it was like a healing Pokemon.
Yeah,
Um,
no, yeah.
so
Baymax is just a lovable character, isn't he?
definitely gonna say round boy.
Yeah, round,
I mean,
big.
in a game where like a lot of it is like sharp edges, sharp beaks, like disorientating monsters and stuff like that. I think having a like and like all everything's gonna be like very edge, like the building's gonna have like sharp edges and stuff like that. I think having
Having
something
being
round,
soft, just
yeah,
being soft.
yeah, something that's round and not pointy. I think that will make it that would ensure the feeling of like, safety.
Yeah, he doesn't appear like a threat.
Yeah.
So he's just going to be a round, soft character.
Soft boy.
Soft boy.
Um,
Uh,
I
okay.
think for these right now, standout colors, soft colors, round boy. I think that kind of just gives a good um
Good
idea, like a good
starting point,
basis.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, very much most of this is just creating a basis for the character, seeing as he's the like, if anything, he's I think the only character hasn't that doesn't have like a background to him, like previous work done on him before. So having a
Yeah.
basis is useful.
Square one. So
Um,
we're at.
Now I'm gonna say the most important thing, and I would say it goes under what really, but I would say this needs its own branch, and it is voice.
How it's going to sound. Yeah.
Yes.
How am I going to voice it as well
Yeah.
with my capabilities?
So, I have actually chosen you specifically, to be the voice for this character, and people were like, "Oh, Aiden."
Like, I don't know if that's an insult or
I
not.
don't, not in an insulting way, but just like, Aiden acting.
I mean, yeah, true.
But so I actually had a thought about this. Among all or everyone that, well, most people that I know, you actually have a major key. And I know some people that are probably gonna watch this and gonna be like, "What the hell is he on about?" And like, it's like my own personal theory. I'd say it's not really my own theory, but like my belief and ideas. So I feel like most people actually, when they talk normally, when they have a like when they just when they don't put on a voice, when they just have their normal talk, they have either a major or a minor tone. And like it's like the same in any music. I,
Yeah.
if I was to talk normally, this is right now is my recording voice. But if I was like, so if I actually talk normally, this is how I normally talk, which is quite like monotone. It's quite um, there's not much to it. There's like it's very minor, I'd say.
Yeah.
Most people actually, because it's just genuinely how they are as people, they tend to talk with a minor tone of voice. It's really less effort. Aiden, you are probably, I'd say you're the only one of the only people that I know that talks genuinely in a major tone.
Okay.
Like even when you're sad or when you're talking about something serious, you still kind of sound happy.
Yeah, I guess so. I tend not to like. Actually, yeah.
Like
You
no, I mean,
confronted me with how it is, and yeah,
yeah,
I see it.
it's like something that you like people don't normally think about, but it's like even when you're talking about something serious, you just can't help but having this slight major tone to your voice.
Yeah.
Like if I was to talk about something serious, I get all like dark and stuff like that. But your tone of voice is just generally high, like a major, which means for a character that's meant to be like the symbol of friends, family support, like you need, especially since the music's gonna be in a minor key.
So it'll stand out amongst. the mood of the game.
Yeah. So the voice important. It has to be major key.
Which key? Okay.
But that's gonna be.
Got yeah.
It's easier for you to do as a person.
If well, yeah, especially if I'm doing it like naturally.
Yeah, because you naturally do it. It means it's easier for you to develop. Like if we said, oh, we want to create you to do this kind of voice, it will still be in that happier tone. So that's like something we like if I had to do it, I had to think about how I'd make it sound happier and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, are we going to go for like a deep, like a kind of like a high, like, oh, do you need to rest your head? Or are we going for a little bit? So that was quite high. So like, hi, do you need to rest your head? And like that kind of deep, or do you want to go for like a higher pitch? I say higher pitch, I mean like how you normally talk. So basically, either you deepen your voice a little bit, or you with the way you normally talk.
I mean, I guess it. I would say maybe my natural tone may be a little too high, so maybe go for the lower.
Okay, so we could try. We'll definitely try lower then.
We can try both options, but I personally
I
think that
mean,
my voice normally might be a little too
what we could do actually.
high for the mood.
I'm just gonna quickly grab my notepad where I did a quick draft of like a line. I'm gonna type
Yeah.
this line out onto Google Docs. We'll have you read it in both higher and lower, and then we can see which one we decide sounded better. All right, give me a second. Right. Okay. You know what? I really hope that it's still like where we're still recording the audio, because if it wasn't recording, imagine we just went through all of this.
Yeah, there's just nothing, no evidence.
All right. Um, I'm gonna type this out onto uh the Google Doc. This is just like
Yeah.
it's kind of like kind of cheesy, but it's like it's not flushed out right now. Um,
So obviously, this is the first time I'm seeing some form of script or
yeah.
lines for me to be reading in right now.
Have you enjoyed the air?
Still say I've got to got to test as to what sort of pace you want me to be reading it in.
Yeah, if you were to make a
Are
pace for
you
this,
wanting it?
like if you're gonna pace this, pace it the same way as they paced the intro for Dark Souls.
Okay, so it's not too long, but there's some suspense.
Yeah, so if I'm just gonna read this normally, but
Hanging on a few words.
as the speed that I would like, we can advance to him. Long before the quiet night, uh, the fully lit street and the feeling of joy filled the air. The bright shine of the moon faded and left the world in darkness, where everything was in turmoil, anguish, and fear. The kind of that's
Yeah.
pacing.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of how I pictured it. Be
Yeah,
hanging on the keywords.
I realized because I wrote this script when I was at work on my break. It's a terrible script.
Oh, yeah, but if we're just using it for a sense of
Testing. This is our hi
testing,
guys. This is
it's
our testing script. To be honest, with the time, with what the time is right now, we probably aren't gonna get to script writing today, but we can just.
no.
To be honest,
We've got
we got time.
we've got we've got plenty of time.
Um, right. So let's try it with the low tone of voice. Um, try to keep it low, but don't need to record this yet. So
No, 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 no. It's just give me 2 seconds. I need a glass of water if I'm doing this. You want a dry throat?
yeah, I really need to work on this script. Right. Whilst we're waiting for Aiden, I hope you guys don't actually liking the idea of the Dev Diaries. I mean, I'm gonna do this anyway. I'm gonna constantly do this mainly for my benefit, just so I can have a documentation of the work. But if you quite like the idea, then I will be sharing more of the Dev Diaries. So if you guys can, I'll make a post about it soon. And if you do like it, then hit like on the post. And the more likes I get, the more I'll continue to do this, or like the more frequently I'll do the Dev Diaries. But yeah, are you back?
I am back. I'm gonna quickly take another swig.
Turns out he's actually drinking beer, guys.
No, I mean, had I not been called into work for tomorrow, I might have been, but not today. Not today.
Right.
I'm not doing the student lifestyle today.
Wait, can you still hear me?
I can still hear you, yes.
Okay, good, because I accidentally knocked my wire, and we all know how bad that is. Budget life. Right. Let's give this a tester.
We're going for lower.
Low. So we're gonna go for. Okay, so Aiden's low voice. Scene one, take one. Action.
Long before the quiet nights, the fully lit streets, and the feeling of joy filled the air. The bright shine of the moon faded and left the world in darkness, where everything was in turmoil, anguish, and fear.
Okay, I like that. That wasn't as low as I thought you'd be going.
No, I'm testing the levels of how low I can go without cracking my voice.
Yeah, to be honest, fair enough.
I'm not an adept at this, you know.
Ooh, I have friends. I bet you it's just the Clash trash, isn't it? It
Yep,
is.
it's just an invite for League. I'm pretty sure.
Oh no,
Oh no, wait. It says, "Are we playing Clash
I am working, so no. You are also working,
tomorrow?" And
so
I
no.
don't have a working computer, so no.
Uh, did you try out that fix, by the way?
uh, oh well, with the router and stuff, I did, and it didn't work. I have actually ordered a new TP link, but we'll talk about that another time. Not on this.
Yeah.
Not get sidetracked.
Anyway, yes. Yeah. So let's try.
Oh, who's dropped in?
I'm just watching.
Oh, hello. Right. Hello, guys. This is Luke Jensen. He is one of my old classmates from uni. Say hi, Luke.
Hello.
Um, so to break down what's happening, Luke, this is basically I'm doing a Dev Diaries thing where I record my development,
Okay.
and I'm gonna make a like a little podcast and thing, and I'm gonna share it for people if they want to listen to it or watch it.
That's really cool. Sorry for interrupting. You can edit this bit out.
No, 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 it's okay. I'm actually gonna keep it in because it's you can hear Aiden acting.
Oh,
Uh,
nice. I shall listen.
there's more pressure involved now, isn't there?
Don't worry,
It's
Aiden.
okay.
It's fine.
I'll
So,
just give you lots of critique.
no, actually, Luke, your input would actually be very useful. So,
Okay.
Aiden, let's try a lower tone of voice.
So lower than the previous, yeah.
Yeah. So, Luke, just a breakdown of what Aiden's character, who his character is. He's basically meant to be the symbolization of friends and family and support. He's meant to sound quite like soft and inviting and stuff in a game which is very dark and in a minor key.
Okay.
All right, so let's try in a lower tone of voice, but still try to keep um, that like that major key to it. So Aiden doing a low read through. Um, Scene one, take two, action.
Long before the quiet nights, fully lit streets, and the feeling of joy filled the air. The bright shine of the moon faded, and left the world in darkness, where everything was in turmoil, anguish, and fear. I apologize, I fucked up, but carried on.
um,
I can't hear if that was lower or not,
all
because
right,
I'm not getting any
do your
feedback.
original one. Do your original one.
What, just my normal
Yeah,
voice,
your normal voice
or...
on how you read it.
Okay.
Just so Luke can hear the difference. Aiden doing his normal voice. Scene one, take three, action.
Long before the quiet nights, the fully lit streets, and the feeling of joy filled the air. The bright shine of the moon faded, and left the world in darkness, where everything was in turmoil, anguish, and fear.
Not sure if it was lower. It might be a little bit, but I think the main difference between the two was the first one, you were going a lot slower.
Yeah,
And it felt like there was a lot more intention behind the words, I guess.
yeah,
Do you agree?
I agree. I think the way you read the second time, sorry, the third time there, I think you very much, you kind of like,
I think it's because I picked up my normal speaking pattern, I picked up the pace of my
yeah,
reading,
yeah,
so I didn't hang on words as long as I did with a slower voice.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
Yeah, I
it
can.
depends. It depends on what Kenji wants, but
to be honest, with the tone of the game, because it's very much, Luke, if you didn't know, it's basically looking into creating an awareness for mental illnesses.
yeah.
Um, so the tone of the game is quite dark and solemn and stuff. So we kind of, I think, hanging on the words is going to be very good. Like,
In that case, I definitely
yeah,
say that the first one.
yeah. Like I very much think when you do the readings for this character, like very much try to prolong the words.
Yeah, I'll try and bring out the emphasis on the heavier words.
Yeah, like we want to like because I feel like if you rush things, if you like not I don't mean rush things, but like if you try to speak in a faster tone, it kind of gives the idea that like it's fast paced and stuff.
Well, it's a little too energetic for what is
Yeah,
needed, isn't it?
yeah, like we kind of need it to be very much like just slower and like because the idea like obviously when you deal with mental illness like when you're dealing with like a mental illness you don't want to just rush into things like crazy. You want to like take your
Yeah,
time.
'cause you need to be careful because the problem with a game like this is it can either be received really well and everyone's like, this is a really good thing,
Mm.
or it can be received as like a cash grab, just trying to make money or like gain awareness through mental illness. So it's something that
Mm.
needs to be done correctly.
Yeah.
But from what I've heard, you've already been talking to people with mental health issues,
I have.
which is a great start.
I've also making the game free, Luke.
Yeah, it can be seen as like a
Like a
awareness kind
oh
of,
yeah.
yeah. It's like it doesn't matter if it costs or not. It's like if people will get some people can get mad if it's
Yeah.
like disingenuous, I guess is the best way.
So very much we want to be getting it right
Yeah,
because um so we don't want to like rush like with the speaking and everything. It's very much if we just slow things down, Aiden.
Yeah.
'Cause
Okay.
yeah, so if you just try for like a slower reading, um try to prolong the words, and like I say, like Luke said, put more emphasis into some words, like to like just emphasize things a little bit more.
yeah. Just if you can try and get it as close as you did to the original. I think
I
the,
mean,
the original the second take two I think was good, and then work off of that.
yeah. So we'll try to see if you could get take two again, Aiden. So like a deeper, slower reading. Yeah.
Let me sip my water then.
And try and get the words right this time.
All right. Yeah. Let's not hang on that too much. All right.
uh, for those of you who don't know, Luke is actually, I'd say, one of my better developer friends right now. So
Yeah.
for
I'm the one that gets the messages from Kenji at 2 a.m. going, why isn't the piece of code working?
and then Luke goes, "You're an idiot. You uncommented this," and I'd be like, "Ah, you're right." um, yeah. So in the Dev Diaries, you're definitely gonna hear a lot from Luke because I will be turning to him, being like, "Why does this not work?"
I'll end up getting credited for half of it.
Oh, dude, yeah.
But nah.
It's just like shout out to Luke Jensen, my man. If it weren't for you, I'd still have bugs. Right, Aiden. So we'll do this again. Um, Aiden with a deeper voice and a slower reading. Act 1, Take 4. Action.
Long before the quiet nights, the fully lit streets, and the feeling of joy filled the air. The bright shine of the moon faded and left the world in darkness, where everything was in turmoil, anguish, and fear.
Huh. I think a little
Oh,
bit too slow.
too slow.
Well,
Okay.
so I don't. What is this scene? Is this like the opening to the game?
It's like the opening of the game.
So I wouldn't say that it's too slow. The thing is I can't comment too much without knowing what the backdrop is, I guess. Because of course this isn't going to be over a blank screen. There's most likely going to be something
So,
animating on.
I'll give you a general. So I have a general idea of the backdrop, which
Hmm.
is basically it's going to be overlooking a city's like a gothic city skyline,
Yep.
and it's just basically as as Aiden's character is talking, the sun is in the background and it just slowly going down, and basically it's slowly changing to night.
See, I think that in that case, I mean, again, just my advice, slower is better because the more time you give the audience to take in that change and to notice what's happening, especially because because you could start it off very bright and then make it really darken with the setting of the sun or whatever.
Hmm.
Because of course you just have to remember that I'm sure eventually this will be longer. This is just, I'm guessing, just a start.
Oh yeah,
Start
this
it.
is like the first
Yeah.
line.
So it's just I feel like to get I personally like the speech, and I think that that could
Yeah.
be um it just yeah, I think you need to storyboard it and kind of figure out exactly what's going to be showing as each line goes. Because of course, in major game development, you don't normally do voice acting until like
Mm.
you've got quite a bit done, and you've
I
got you
mean,
at least
I do have a storyboard on paper.
yeah. Well, I
So,
mean that's still good. I mean, most
um,
stuff is done on paper or
so basically, the scene is gonna go. I'll read to you. This is just a general script of it, right?
Mhm.
So, I'll read each section and then I'll explain what's happening in the section, right? So you have this first part. So long before the quiet nights, the fully lit streets, and the feeling of joy filled the air, the bright shine of the moon faded and left the world in darkness where everything was in turmoil, anguish, and fear. And as I said, it's basically the sun is it's like changing from night to day. Sorry, from day to night. And then when the moon comes up, and when it gets to the point where the moon faded and left the world in darkness, like the moon is gonna swap from being a full moon and it's just slowly being washed over, like it's a lunar eclipse and covered in
okay.
darkness. Then
What?
the next
So
line. Oh yeah, yeah,
so sorry. So the beginning bit is the sun going down. Did I hear that
yeah.
right
So
or
the
not?
sun goes
Yeah.
down, the moon rises up, and it rises as a full moon, right? But then
Yeah.
as it goes, the shine of the moon faded. The moon will then start to like stop being a full moon and just start being like it's like a
Yeah.
lunar
Well then
eclipse.
well, just now, then I think it definitely needs to be slow
Yeah,
because you need because one, you don't want it to be like a 3 second sunset and then a 3 second moon, and like you kind
yeah,
of want to drag it out because even if it is eventually that you kind of cut those lines off and don't play them as a full file, you play them as individual lines.
mm.
Um, you don't want the
Animation to
it's
be
like yeah,
slower.
yeah, but it's like even
Sorry,
if the
faster.
animation is, you don't want it to be kind of silent. Like there might be music, but you kind of, especially on a narrated opening,
Yeah,
you want the narration to kind of flow and stay there rather than be chopped up. So I think that slow is definitely the way to start off, um, and then once you've actually got like a rudimentary animation or something like that, maybe then start playing with tempo a bit more. But yeah, I just think that you don't want to go too fast because you don't want the player to just be sitting there kind of watching stuff happen without any kind of anything happening, especially if it's an opening. If you agree, I don't know.
yeah,
That might you might completely disagree with me. Again, it's one of those things that's so subjective, but I think because like if you think like because it's giving me very much like like anime or storytelling TV series like that first episode where you're getting the background basically through a narrator. Do you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
It's giving me very much that. And when you think to those, it's like that kind of deep booming voice that's like telling you what's going on in the world.
Mm.
Um, and we've got our deep booming voice. We've got that. So yeah, that's my opinion, subjective, but I think that starting off slow is a good idea because it just and also it gives you more leeway because the more time you have to animate and to make a scene look good. Because the last thing you want is to have an idea in your head and then have to rush it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Aiden's going anywhere, so I'm sure he will be free to re-record lines if you need it to.
I like prod him with a stick. Monkey, do it.
Yeah, just looking
Monkey.
at you.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, Aiden, do you have anything to add to that?
I kind of yeah. I'm following on from how Luke's putting it through. I mean, with maybe the initial first line, maybe where it kind of doesn't have a darkness to it, kind of have it slow down as soon as I hit like the moon fade. So it kind of has like a gentle sort of not fast, but a slower reading. But then I can drop the tempo again as soon as I hit the fact that
Huh?
it essentially when it all goes wrong.
I mm, I quite like that.
Just a thought, because you can go like long before quiet nights to fully lit streets and feeling of joy to fill the air. Then it kind of like gives it more of an impact as to what's happened.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
It's just my interpretation of it.
Actually, good thing about so we're talking about tempo here. Um, so would it help if I wrote if I wrote a song, so when we do the reading, Aiden, the
Yeah,
song would match, the tempo would match your reading speed?
possibly it might help with
It's
flow.
something you can try.
We
But
can.
yeah, I was gonna say because Kenji, as a games dev graduate, flow in game dev is important. As
Yeah.
in, so do you know what flow in games is, Aiden? I don't know if
I could probably gather it.
yeah.
I play a lot of Dark Souls shit, so it's kind
Yeah,
of
so
they play on that.
yeah. So flow is basically like it's the I can't remember the exact. I'm to try to find this. It's the it's balancing um, difficulty and skill. So
Mm,
and it's making it so you don't get too anxious, too bored. But flow also goes into um, story, and
yeah.
there's a good part of flow that, and especially as this is the opening scene, you're kind of setting the rate. If
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So
Set the whole mood of the game that first line.
yeah, exactly. And now more than ever, I think you really do need to grab people.
Yeah. I think well the idea of the game, the way the game's meant to be played is similar, like a Bloodborne and Dark Souls game. So to break down the game to you, Luke, it's meant to like fighting the bosses is meant to signify to people the difficulty in actually dealing with these mental illnesses. Like
Yeah.
it's meant to be so for example, I'll give you an example. By the way, I don't know if both of you know this, but I definitely know that I haven't mentioned it to anyone that might be listening to this podcast or watching the video. The game is going to I'm going to give trigger warnings to the game, and
Mm.
for people that do have some of the mental illnesses, that I will list off the mental illnesses before the game even starts. And if someone has these mental illnesses, I'm actually going to ask them if I will actually provide them a special version of the game which will it will have a skip button.
You could always do like rather than giving them special versions of the game, it could be integrated into settings, and you could have when someone opens the first game, like when you open some games and you get like turning on subtitle settings and stuff like that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
could have that where, and it could even be the thing where they select things they aren't comfortable dealing with, and
Yeah, so
you
they
can
take
then just
they
you can so, and a good kind of example of it, it's not the same, is the new game Grounded. Have you seen this? The one where you play as a small, like it's kind of like Honey I Shrunk the Kids, where you play as a shrunk person in a garden. Have you seen this?
no.
Have not
Okay,
no.
well, so basically the whole point is you're it's kind of like Honey I Shrunk the Kids, where you're like this shrunk person in the garden of a house.
Yeah.
And it's basically like a building type game, but of course you encounter insects, and the insects are like the hostile mobs.
Ah.
Um, but the problem is that their main enemy you encounter is spiders. And because you're so small, these spiders are massive compared to you. And they have an arachnophobia mode. And the way that they do it is, if you Google it, it's really cool. They have a slider that has like natural spider, least spider, and the more you drag it to the right, the more features they remove from the spider. So like they take the legs off, they take the fangs off, until at the end it's literally just a white blob that comes at you and attacks you. Um, and it's been praised because it's a thing where it's like there are people. Of course, arachnophobia is a very common phobia, um, and it's just that kind of thing where people it's been praised as a thing that like it's allowing people with arachnophobia to actually play the game. So I feel like that could be a really good way of doing it. Is but it's also then you're crossing the line of if you're because you're using this if you're using this game to educate.
Hmm. See, that's what that's what I mean. So I'm using the game to educate. However, like I don't want to also,
Cut things out.
yeah. So the fact that
Because
like
it could you could do something like that game, and if somebody says you could maybe have it so that each mental illness has like 3 levels, maybe, um, that's like full, medium, low, whatever, and then what you could do is make it so that if it's full, the person gets the full experience of that mental illness in the game, and then on low, they can still play through that portion of the game, but you remove certain things that might simulate. I don't know exactly how you're going to do it.
yeah.
Um,
See, all right. So the bosses when you fight the bosses, they're actually meant to be so they're meant to I've talked to people and I've done my research into looking into how people like like what it's like for people to experience it. So the bosses are actually meant to feel like what it's like to deal with the problems, and I
yeah,
feel like reducing it or giving their an option to reduce it means that um it's kind of like just saying that, oh, like I don't want people to then see it as a way of like being like, oh, they just mean it means nothing then.
but then you kind of have to draw the line at do you completely skip over that mental illness, like you were saying, in releasing a special version of the game without it, or do you still give them
See,
an
this is
option to experience it? It's
the
like,
I think the skipping version of it. I'm thinking like the skipping is for own like for one boss specifically. Like you could choose which boss to skip type thing. But I do see
yeah,
what you mean where, and like that's the reason why I want it to be like a special version for it.
yeah,
Like if someone messaged me being like I have a specific problem with because like PTSD and stuff like that, or I think the one that's really gonna cause issues is paranoia, which is the first
yeah,
boss in the game. So,
yeah.
because the actual paranoia boss is the headphones is gonna start. You'll start hearing whispers on your headphones,
Mm.
and your screen becomes limit. So your visual becomes limited to just literally around your character, and you're gonna see fake versions of the boss.
I can tell you that this game is going to fully fuck me up.
Uh,
Like
I'm gonna
just that one boss is already making me feel anxious just hearing about it.
all right. I'm gonna go through the bosses with you just so you have understanding. I think I went through them with Aiden. Did I?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
That
So
was over the phone though.
that was paranoia. Depression is literally your character's movement speed is slower, your attack speed is slower, your dodge speed is slower. Basically, anything to do with movement is just reduced
Mm.
because like because depression is like the whole thing of like you wake up and you don't like it's hard for
You
you.
feel yeah, you feel very lethargic. It's
Yeah,
like
and yeah,
you just don't feel like you can.
do things.
Yeah, it's
Um, bipolar, which I'm gonna say is actually technically the hardest boss in the game, hence why I'm nerfing it by reducing its HP. So,
yeah.
bipolar is basically it swaps from being passive mode to aggressive mode, and you can only damage it when it's in aggressive mode, but you cannot tell when it's in aggressive mode.
Yeah.
Like there's gonna be a tell. I'm not gonna mention the tell now because this is gonna be in a recording.
Yeah.
But there's gonna be a tell when fighting it. But the tell is gonna
Hmm.
be so minor because like with people with bipolar, it's really hard to tell when they swap.
Yes.
And also when you damage it when it's on passive mode, you heal it because
Yeah.
the idea of it is when you because if you attack it but it's not actually in a bad state, healing it is basically meaning it's harder to deal with.
Yeah.
And that's the idea of it because when you're bipolar and then you then even though you're in a good state you start being like, oh, I'm gonna deal with it now, you're gonna start thinking about it more, which is then gonna cause more episodes.
Yeah.
The one after that is PTSD, which is just gonna be normal. It's gonna attack you melee. However, it's gonna have a range attack, which it will, even if whether it hits or not, it's gonna leave an echo on the ground, and if you step on that echo again, and the echo by the way is gonna be very faint. It's gonna be like faded. And if you step on
Yeah.
that echo again, you get damaged again. The damage is
Yeah.
repeated.
That's a cool idea.
Now, anxiety is where problems are gonna happen. Another one where problems are
Yeah.
gonna happen. So, anxiety, when you fight anxiety, the first thing you get a bar over your head, and the closer you are, the longer you stay close to it, the bar increases. A quarter of the way through, your character gets damaged over time. Halfway through, your vision becomes blurry, so the screen becomes blurry. Three-quarters of the way through, your controls become inverted. So I actually talked to my friend Emma, name drop her. Hi Emma, um, about anxiety, and she told me that like when you have a like the thing with anxieties is mainly panic attacks, and obviously you struggle to breathe, which does damage to your body. Then obviously
Yeah.
because you're not getting oxygen, it's harder for you to see, and then you just want to get away or you want to try to run away from it, but sometimes you just can't move, which is like movement impaired. Hence why the
Yeah.
inverted controls. By the way, I can really imagine Aiden completely screwing himself while playing this game because he's like mid fight and he just invert controls and runs full face into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds again, I'm someone who suffers with anxiety quite badly sometimes. And yeah, it that does kind of sound like it. It's like sometimes you are just stuck in a situation that keeps increasing, like I guess the
Yeah,
level that you're experiencing.
and
Um
the only way, if you step away and take basically a breather away from it, so if you step back from the boss and keep away from it for a while, the bar will decrease over time.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of that's a good idea. I like that.
But as you can see from like there's another boss which is basically multiple personality disorders. But for that I'm basically having it swap between all the different bosses because the idea of it is like someone with multiple personality disorders can actually suffer from different mental illnesses dependent on their
Yeah,
personality that they
so
are, which I've
um
like I read somewhere that one personality can literally have depression but the other one cannot have depression.
yeah, so is it something that's you kind of like going into like DID?
Yeah, the idea.
So yeah, avoid using multiple personality disorder. It's seen as like an offensive term.
Okay.
So it's now known as dissociative identity
Yeah,
disorder.
I read it down as
Um,
dissociative identity disorder, but I also read that multiple personality disorder is what they were called. So I was like, oh,
yeah, it was like it's the previous medical like term for it, but it's been like officially changed to DID now.
All right. Anyone that's watching the video or listening to the podcast, I'm sorry about that. I made a mistake. Thank you, Luke, for um. Well, I mean, that's the thing about this game, right? I wouldn't have known that, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of people wouldn't have known that.
Like, I don't think it's one of those things where people get, like, as far as I'm aware from people that I've seen, again, not speaking for everyone with DID, some people don't mind it, whereas other people do find it quite offensive. So it is
Yeah.
very, yeah,
But I
different.
think like very much like as I was saying, it's just there's so many people out there that wouldn't be aware of this. Like I don't know if Aiden would have been aware, like would have known how it was like to deal with like paranoia or anxiety and stuff. I don't know because do you?
Yeah, I would say I only have a little bit of knowledge of
Yeah,
each, maybe a little bit more in other cases of others, but I'm not fully aware of everything or the
yeah,
triggers or whatever what people feel. So it's teaching me to some degree.
yeah,
It's like, I think this is a good way to teach about it because, like, it's sometimes just so hard to explain how it
yeah,
feels to go through like so a panic attack. It's like it's so tough to explain sometimes.
yeah.
Um,
That's what that's what I also felt because there were so many like even like from my own experience I found it like when I because I don't understand like I didn't understand what it was like to have a panic attack myself, and I
yeah,
feel like like I was able to understand it because like um I was explained to, but some people just won't get it from explanation. So I feel like
no,
the experience of what it's like by playing a game, like
yeah. Well, that's what's great about games. They are really
yeah,
they can tell us because I think it's it's the other big mental health game. Is it Celeste? Is Celeste? Yeah. So Celeste is one that it was just the side scroll. I don't know if you've heard of it.
no, I thought
Um,
it was
because Celeste is about a girl fighting her inner demons, and apparently, I
oh, I know
personally
that
haven't
game.
played it.
I
Yeah,
think I know. Wait, let me look it up.
yeah, I personally haven't played it, but I know that a lot of people have said that it's a really good depiction of mental health.
Yeah, I think I've heard. Is this one? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I've seen bits of it. All right. By the way, just for the podcast, sorry. This swap from development to talking about.
yeah,
um, but the thing is, like, when you're dealing with a subject topic like this, like the discussion will always come up, especially since we have to be very careful with the development because it does pitter patter on
yeah.
a very serious matter. I feel like I'm I don't know if you guys mind, but in my dev diaries, I very much will be ending up having a segment where I'm probably just gonna end up talking about mental illness and like probably like talking to other people on the video about what it's like for them.
But
Cause
that's important
yeah,
to give the voice to people that
very much so.
sometimes don't have that voice. Is a very important thing.
Like I mean, apart from the game, I think very much like I maybe just even within the interviews, like I can just talk to people about it, like and like as well as the game being an awareness thing, the videos themselves could be awareness.
Mm.
I could like if I need to I could cut that line out because that was more like back talk there, but to be honest, I don't really care.
Yeah.
uh,
But yeah, I think it's a really good thing.
hmm,
I do have to cut off now, though, unfortunately.
that's okay.
But thank you very much. And if you need anything else, do let me know. And
I shall
I
do.
will
Thank you so much, Luke.
I'll speak to you soon.
Catch
That's
you later.
okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Right. Actually, Aiden, I think very much having people come in and talk to you as well about what it's like dealing with um these things. I think it will help you in how your character should be.
Oh yeah, like gaining understanding
Yeah,
is gonna be critical for
seeing as like your character's
essentially being the character for
the support network.
rescue,
Yeah.
comfort, and yeah,
And like maybe if we like get if like I definitely will see we'll see if you could like if you talk to like different people and then see um how they prefer to be comforted and stuff, or like what it, for them is comfort, and then maybe we can tailor your character for every single like because obviously there's gonna be a few levels before the boss,
yeah,
and in those levels they'll meet run into your oops sorry run into your character, right?
yeah,
I've and obviously before the boss your character is going to be giving words of advice as well as like an idea on what the boss is actually going to be like, right?
yeah,
And I think if we tailor your character according to how people feel like they prefer to be comforted when dealing with that specific subject matter,
yeah.
so each pre-boss levels is a different way of you how you speak, like how your character like will act and stuff.
So it's just tailoring it to each specific
Yeah,
topic or subject matter, sorry, and kind of develop it from that point rather than a generalized persona that will
yeah,
consist throughout the rest of the game.
yeah. Because I feel like if like we just do a general persona, it kind of just kills in the fact it takes away from the matter. Just like it would be like, oh, every these ones are just the same. Like you deal with them the same way.
It could come across as it's generalizing all of them together,
Yeah,
and they could be tackled in the same scenario, but it doesn't. So yeah, I think tailoring the dialogue, the way to speak,
yeah,
could all just come down to how and which one we're discussing. So
yeah. So I feel like
uh,
development for your character is going to be probably the last thing. It'll be like I think starting it now when the game's beginning, but it will be basically finished when the game's done.
yeah,
Because
okay,
I feel like your character is very important. Well, I it's not. I feel like your character is very important to the game and storyline itself.
yeah,
So, very much the development of your character will just be so. Yeah, it will be ongoing. So, for basically for those that are gonna be listening to the podcast and watching the video, you will be hearing from Aiden
a
a
lot.
lot. um, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have him visit us and turn up often, especially since we'll be developing with him. And I am actually going to have different people come in and join in the chat, and we can just listen to their experiences. Because as like I said, the game is meant to be created for creating awareness for mental illnesses, and I think hearing people's stories and people's experiences is just a good way to getting an understanding of what people go through. But it is right now 11 o'clock, and I do have work at 8 a.m. tomorrow. So I think I'm gonna call the podcast slash video thing here.
Session done.
Yeah. Well, Luke mentioned this game, but if you guys haven't tried it, Celeste, I didn't. I heard about it, but I didn't really know much about it. I'm quite intrigued about it, so I'm gonna actually give it a go.
Might be good. Yeah, it might be worth
Yeah.
having a look through if it
Yeah, but I
sounds
mean,
similar.
for everyone else as well, like, I think give Celeste a look, give it a play. If it's, um, I'm gonna give it a go myself. I maybe might even talk about it in the upcoming videos. But anyway, thank you so much for sticking around. If you did, if you sit around and listened, thank you so much, Aiden, for spending this time with me.
More than welcome. Won't be
uh,
the last time. So
won't be the last time. Definitely, you guys will hear from Luke again. Uh, a big thank you to Luke again. I know he's not here, but the fact that he came in and he came in with those big insights as well, like things that I like would have slipped my mind if we didn't have Luke come and talk to me about it, or just like he just gave us that little bit of insights on how to deal with things. So thank you so much, Luke, and I shall see you guys. Well, the next time I create a video. So I hope you guys are staying well, especially in this pandemic, and please stay healthy and stay safe. Right. See you later. Bye.
Bye.